Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to DIY Marketing Tips, create everything you need for free. This webinar is presented by SCORE Hudson Valley and Greater New York chapters of Dutchess, Long Island, Orange, Putnam, Queens, Rockland, Staten Island, Ulster, and Westchester. I'm Bill Midgley, and I'm the Assistant District Director for the Hudson Valley District. Next slide. A little bit about SCORE Hudson Valley, Greater New York. Our goal is to foster vibrant small businesses through free mentoring and education. We serve our small business communities by providing confidential business mentoring, webinars and workshops, extensive online educational resources through our national website. We support startups to establish businesses. Volunteer business mentors with a wide range of industry experiences and areas of expertise to draw on. Next slide. And these are the contacts for the sponsoring chapters. Next slide. A couple of housekeeping notes. Everyone will be muted during the presentation. As we go, please submit your text questions and comments in the Q&A button. The chat button will be disabled. We will look to answer as many questions as possible during the presentation where feasible, and we'll leave time at the end of the webinar to review those questions that were asked and their responses. Next slide, please. Today's webinar will cover a review of the best free tools and resources, tips on how and when to utilize each of them, and how to start prioritizing where you should spend your time. And today, next, it's my pleasure to present Pete Gosling, CEO and founder of Gosling Media, with a passion for helping businesses tell their story to the world through innovative digital experiences. Pete has spent his 15 plus years in digital marketing and creative production. Pete started Gosling Media in 2018 with a focus on helping businesses deliver on their marketing needs through a mix of brand strategy, creative production, and modern marketing tactics. Residing in Rye Brook and with offices in Irvington, New York, Gosling is actively working with SCORE Hudson Valley chapters to help small business grow through this new era of digital transformation. Without any further ado, my pleasure to turn it over to Pete.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. As Bill said, my name's Pete Gosling. You might be able to tell that I'm actually English. I'm from what I like to say is the original Chester in England, but I've lived in New York since 2008. I actually live in Rye Brook, but we have a small office space in Irvington as well. And my wife is from East Chester in Westchester. So lots of Chesters that I can't escape. So marketing, digital marketing today is very complicated. There's a lot of different tools and platforms and things that you need to use, but there's also like literally thousands that they want you to use, like people are trying to actively get you to use. So it's a real minefield of knowing which tools are best or suitable. So this graphic here, this hideous thing on the screen at the moment, is called the MarTech 5000. So marketing technology companies, each of these things is a little logo that represents a software platform. And according to chief marketer, larger organizations use an insane number of platforms, like 90 different marketing tools is really staggering. So for small businesses, it's like really difficult to know where to start. You're going to find conflicting opinions on blog posts. So I've gone through tools that I use with clients or just myself, and I found the ones that I think are best for small businesses. And you do need these software platforms because to reach your audience is difficult, right? Because this graphic here showing that people are just inundated with advertisements and different marketing campaigns and messages. So it can be really hard to get your marketing out there. So these software platforms really help you be more efficient and, in some cases, automate your marketing. So these are my just like personal opinions, but I've broken it down into like 6 main buckets. So marketing strategy is basically, what is it that we should be doing? Who are we trying to talk to? It covers a ton of information, but it's worth sort of taking a minute to talk about strategy before you dive into these tools, because you want to make sure you have a plan in place so that you know whether they're working or not. Brand assets, you may well, if your existing business, have these already, but there's a few really good platforms that can help you produce brand assets or update your existing ones. Content production, I'm a big fan of content marketing, where you produce content frequently that is like of value to your target audience and publish it on your website. It draws people into your website. You can use it across social media. You can use the content in email campaigns. So producing content is a big thing. So there's tools and resources out there for research. So what is it you should be writing, and the actual writing itself. Next is social media. So once you've got your content or your campaign assets ready, you need to push them out to the world. So there's tools for producing graphics to make them look good, and videos. And also this touches on the automation. There's a lot of really good tools that let you automate the scheduling of your content so that you don't have to be pushing it out each day manually. Then we have email marketing and or CRM. So CRM is client relationship management software. So Salesforce is a very well-known one, or HubSpot. And that's basically a database of all of your existing clients, but also prospects, targets that you want to become clients. I'm only going to touch briefly on it because it's a very dense topic, but there are free tools that you can use to automate the email sending and also the client relation management tools as well. And then finally, analytics. Wanted to touch on this because all of the above, you don't want to be just throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks. You need to make sure that analytics are set up. There's amazing tools for free that you can use. And once they're set up correctly, you'll be able to look back and see which of the marketing tactics that you've been producing work, right? So analytics is critically important. So when we talk about free software, it's like, is it really free? So, I mean, the short answer is yes, they are free, but there's a couple of things to look out for. So most of these software platforms, often called SaaS platforms, so SaaS, you might hear thrown around, software as a service, are typically software tools that you access through a web browser and pay monthly. So it's not like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint where you download it and install it on your machine. These are all accessed through a browser. But the freemium model is they offer users a free sign up, and then you get a base level of features without paying anything. And the idea is that they do this because they want you to get enough value in the platform that you start using it frequently. And then if you like it enough and you want to explore more, you can unlock more features or volume in the usage by paying. So it's a very, very common business model. So free access, and then you can upgrade if needed. But everything I'm going to talk about today is talking about the free tier, because for small businesses, most of the additional features in the paid plans you don't need. The second model is more, they offer the service for free. And this is, you might have heard in the news with Facebook, right? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So some of these platforms, they offer it for free and then they'll run ads on the page. So in this graphic here, the partner in the yellow is essentially an advertiser. So they would be paying the company to run ads that you would see and hopefully buy their services. So that's how they make money. Because I'm always skeptical of, if it's free, why is it free? So it's good to know the sort of reasons behind it. So for marketing strategy, there's this company called Smart Insights, and I refer them pretty much to everyone that lets me talk about marketing too. It's such a great resource. So I'm actually going to jump around quite a bit in this webinar between my presentation and the actual tools that I'm talking about. So Smart Insights has a number of different learning paths and guides and templates, and their free tier gives you quite a lot to pull from. And then if you want to unlock more, you can pay. So if I filter this by free memberships, so there's 41 member resources here. Let me zoom in a little bit. And it's just a really good starting place. So digital marketing plan template, I highly recommend this. It's basically a worksheet that takes you through the steps of just basic digital marketing. And it's a great entry point. But they also have more specific things. So email marketing trends. They have a lot of mistakes to avoid type content. So you probably see this type of content on blogs quite a lot. But the thing with blog content I find is a lot of it is clickbait, which is kind of unfair. But basically there's a lot of blog content out there that isn't very high quality. These guys, you know, they're by established professors and authors in the marketing space. So the content is legitimately good. So again, they offer a bunch of free resources here that you can download. You have to sign up and create an account. That's a common theme. In order to access these free tools, you do have to provide an email address, but it's well worth it. You're getting a lot of value out of them for free. So Smart Insights is very good. The learning paths as well, I actually have members of my team take. They're a paid service, but for the purposes of today, I would focus on the free resources and downloadable guides. Just excellent content. So next, a lot of you are probably familiar. So we're jumping into brand assets now. Strategy, there's a lot of other resources, but I would start with Smart Insights. Brand assets, logo being number one. So Canva, I actually refer to 2 times in this presentation because it is so powerful, to be honest. So I'm logged in here with a free account. And in this example, we want to search for logo. And the sort of strength and weakness I find with Canva is the number of templates that they offer. So they've got 50,000 templates just of logos, right? Which at first is like, that's amazing. But then on second glance, you can quite easily spend a couple of hours just scrolling, right? 50,000 templates is a lot. So filter it by free on the left at the bottom. So you're only seeing the free templates, that gets it down to 18,000. And then depending on what type of look and feel you're going for, you can filter it further. And then when you find one you like, you simply select it. It opens up an editor, and then you can come in and change your details here. So your company name could be, I don't know, say you're a lawyer, like Lawyer Up Solutions. And you can change the graphic here. They have a lot of different stock resources and shapes. You can upload your own assets and fonts and so on. So it is actually like a full featured design tool. Like I know professionals who use Canva, they've kind of given up on Adobe products and they've started using Canva for client work, which is kind of incredible, to be honest. But the free tier lets you access the free templates, as I showed you, and you can download the asset, but they do limit what you can download. So if you want the print files or a transparent background, you do have to pay, which is understandable, right? But they do have a free trial, and all of these platforms, you can pay either monthly or annually. So if you did go ahead and sign up, do as much as you can in this 30 days, maybe wait until you've really got through everything you can do on the free piece. Maybe you create all of your assets, sign up for a month, and then cancel it after a month, like sort of bulk produce everything in those 30 days, and then you don't have to pay a penny. Just make sure you set a reminder to cancel the subscription. I've got a bad habit of signing up for these tools and then find out I'll be paying for it. So Canva is excellent. I'm going to come back and talk a bit more about Canva when we get into the social media promotion. For logos, also, I absolutely love this platform called Logo Pony. So these guys take a slightly different approach where you can do all of the design and everything in this platform. So business branding, say. So it's logopony.com. You'll get the slides with all of these links at the end of the presentation. And they've got this sort of very clear, easy process that walks you through making a logo. So if I just put in lawyer here, you can select a few different icons to represent your business. Let me just grab a couple here. That's kind of funny. And let's just do this one. Okay, so I've got 3 icons that represent the business that potentially could be used in the logo. Continue. Here they give you just a few colors, but you can at the end edit the colors. So let's just pick this. I've been using this lawyer up. There's a little fun demo, and then create the logo. So what they do here is it basically goes through all of these different layouts and choices, so you can add more colors, more icons, and then it's just generating every combination you can think of, different fonts, different layouts, different icons, and so on. And it's just great because, like, when you're staring at a blank canvas, even Canva, when you've got those templates, it can be a little intimidating. What I like about this is it's just, okay, let's say I like this, but I want to change the font. I can do that in here. So company name, I could edit, and then the font is here. I can change the size. And the other great thing about this platform is it lets you visualize instantly what your logo could look like on different assets. So really like it, but the catch here, and it's a great free tool for just ideas. But if you want to download it, of course, you have to pay. But it's a reasonable fee. I think it's $20 and $80, depending on what it is that you're downloading. But let's say this is our logo. We like this. I'm going to go to save and continue. The benefit that it gives you when you do pay is it gives you the logo files in color, black, white, in every file format, but it also gives you a social media kit, business cards, and a number of other brand assets that you typically might want. So I have actually used this in the past while playing around with an idea for something myself. And you can see when you come into it here, what the final looks like if you did pay for it. So it basically gives you a brand kit that you can share with people as well, with color codes, what fonts you're using, and so on. So I'm not going to spend too long on this, but I think you get the idea. It just generates everything all in one go. As a professional designer for so long, this kind of, I love it, but it also is crazy how far these platforms have come, because doing this by hand as a designer in Illustrator takes a long time to produce all the variations. Okay, moving on. So that's the logo branding or brand assets. Another big piece of branding is the typography. So these tools I just showed you have fonts baked into them, but sometimes you need to access fonts directly yourself. So Google Fonts is a very popular, well-established free resource where you can use these fonts on your website. It helps you implement them. So it depends on how you're building your website. If you're using Wix or one of these online builders, they typically have Google Fonts integrated and you're just using it. So maybe you're using Roboto Slab, you can come here and actually download the actual font files so that in other materials, you're using the same font. So your website has Roboto, you're using Roboto in your flyers or Word documents and so on. So Google Fonts has an incredible number and completely free. And the good thing about these as well is all of the different weight variations. So by weights, it's these. So you've got thin, italic, all the way through to what they call black, which is bolder than bold. They've got bold, extra bold, and black. So Google Fonts, they're very professional, very good, full range of fonts. Another resource, though, that I've used a lot in the past is called dafont.com. And this is a little different, where it's not like a big enterprise tool like Google. It's essentially independent studios and artists are uploading fonts that they've created themselves. And some of it's for exposure. You'll see they've got ads on the website, so Dafont can make money that way. And it's a way for these artists or foundries, like independent typography foundries, to showcase their work. So if you want to make sure it's free, because you see here it's very small. Let me zoom in. On the right hand side, it says free for personal use. There's a number of them that they'll upload. You can use it for fun, but don't use it commercially. It's a little hidden, but if you click on, say, top fonts, and then click more options, and then click 100% free, that will now only show me fonts that I can use for commercial use. So all of these fonts are available to use for your business. So you can add more filters based on the type, whether you want it to be a serif font or a script font, or like, you know, there's all the different types of fonts you can access. And then if you click on, say, look, there's a Harry Potter style font here. You can see all of the actual characters. Now, this is a thing to highlight. You see, they don't have all of the accents and special characters. So somewhere like Google Fonts will have every single character that you could ever need. But some of these more independent fonts, or like fun fonts, right? They don't necessarily have all of the different weights from thin to thick to bold. And they don't always have every character. Like this one doesn't have the greater than and smaller than signs, copyright symbol, and things like that. So that's just something to be aware of. But usually these types of fonts you're using for just like a headline or something where that's less important. So dafont.com, great resource for more creative fonts. Moving on from typography, photography is a big need for your brand assets. So unsplash.com is a great resource. Again, this is independent artists who are publicizing their own work. Maybe you want to hire them as a photographer if you like their work. Also, there's advertisements built in here, but these are 100% free for commercial use. And you can download them straight here. Similar to Unsplash is one called Pixabay. These guys have photos, but they also have illustrations. Vectors are a type of file that you can open in some professional software It's just the way that the file is put together, but you don't need to worry too much about that. But these guys also have videos, so you can download free stock video. Just check the licensing terms. Some of them are completely free for commercial. Sometimes you do have to attribute the author, just have like a small link to the person's page. It explains it on the website. But just between those two websites, you can find pretty much any image you could ever need for your marketing. Another one that's a favorite of mine, and this is the Noun Project. Missed that. So Noun Project is basically an icon repository. And they've started adding photos as well, but I actually use this a lot for brainstorming ideas. So I've been using Lawyer, right? If I want to come up with some imagery for a law firm, a lawyer, I mean, a lot of these are cute. I guess Lawyer is a person, so maybe it's, let's do something more like Jim. These, again, are completely free to download. Again, check what it says. Sometimes you have to put a little attribution to the designer, but most of them are completely free to download, and you can select it and you can actually change the color that you want directly on the site and download the SVG or PNG here. So this one's royalty free. So another great resource for icons. Another tip as well, if you find an icon you like, this style, because it's like thousands of different designers uploading their own work, you can go to more from this collection or go to the artist himself, or herself, so that you can actually get all of the icons within a certain style so that your branding is consistent. Moving on, audio. YouTube actually has a audio library. I think because there were so many issues with copyright infringements with people uploading commercial music on their videos, they've got a really good, very big resource, 1,300 pages of completely free music that you can use anywhere for commercial use, sound effects as well. So that you access through the YouTube Studio. So if you create a YouTube account, the Studio is basically your admin panel for that account. So that's all the sort of production assets. Now I want to talk about research. So say you want to research what blog post to write, or even see what competitors are doing. This Ubersuggest is very good. You can do a site audit where it tells you how you're doing. So you plug in your web address here. It gives you ideas for how to improve it. You can also do specific keyword research. So if you're thinking of writing a blog post about a certain topic, put in the keywords here. So let's say, like, I don't know, best yoga mats or something. This tells you, okay, yoga mat is getting a very high search volume, but it's also quite difficult. So SEO difficulty is a scale from 1 to 100. So it's a competitive term, gives you other keyword ideas. I could spend an hour just talking about this tool. It's excellent. So the free tier gives you a lot, and it's definitely worth exploring. Another tool for research, again, is Google Trends. So this is basically telling you everything that people are searching for on Google. So it's a very powerful tool. Queen Elizabeth II naturally is there. So you can put in any topic. So again, if I just put yoga mat, you can see the interest over time. So it's not the actual number of searches is important. So it's a scale from 0 to 100. So it's just showing you a trend, right? So if I change this, say, to past 5 years. So the 100 is just like, when was the biggest amount of volume for that search? So I guess pandemic, people were searching for yoga mats. That's interesting. That jumps up. and then it tapers down. So you can also compare. So if you're thinking about writing about yoga mats, maybe exercise ball, that's the right term, or gym ball. So you can compare. Again, it doesn't give you the volumes, but it shows you like relative search volume. So very, very powerful. You can filter by region as well. So Google Trends is a good one. Let's say that you now know what you want to write about. Grammarly is a lifesaver. I basically live in Grammarly. They have extensions for Gmail, Google Docs, I think Word as well. And it's like a spell checker, grammar checker of the future. Like it uses AI to help you improve your writing. So not only does it just highlight mistakes, it also gives you recommendations for clarity and improving just the quality of your writing. So it might take a second to rescan this, but it should be highlighting that. But on the right, it goes through, it sees here the playbook your team needs. Maybe you want to rewrite it like this, so you can rewrite for clarity. Doing live demos is always when things stop working. So let me just reload the page. So Grammarly.com, very powerful tool. When it works, it should be working. It always works, except for when I'm doing live demos. There we go. Correct your spelling. So it caught that. I'm going to change that to start. Rephrase this sentence. It's saying that there's a more clear way. You just click it and it just rewrites it for you. So spelling and grammar has never been a strong point for me, so it's a fantastic tool. Social media. So I'm sure every man and his dog is telling you to produce social media content for your small business. So Canva, again, is a great tool for that. So I talked about logos before, but if you come back to here, you can get templates for all kinds of different social channels. So social media, Instagram stories. And again, there's an overwhelming number of templates, but you can kind of filter them down, find something that looks roughly what it is that you are looking for or represents your brand. And if I just grab this one, similar to the logo tool, you have the editor here, and you can do animation and video as well. So you can animate elements into the page so that when you export it as a video, it's not just static frames. Very cool stuff. Almost through them all. If you're interested in doing more video stuff, I highly recommend this tool called Animoto. A lot of these tools have very fun names. Animoto is dedicated for these types of social promo videos. So it's similar to what we just looked at. Let me just mute that. It gives you music too. Let me pick this template. So similar to Canva, but it's dedicated on video production. So you can upload all of your assets, and then they have essentially a little bit like when you're producing a PowerPoint or Google Slides, you have the different slides here with the content, and you can add transitions between. So it does a lot for you automatically. And if I click design, they basically have themes. So it will like reapply this theme to the whole video. So rather than picking a template and customizing it, this is more like a theme, I guess, again, like PowerPoint, where you can apply it throughout and then choose the text styles and the transition styles and so on, and export the video. The free tier lets you do all of this. The only problem with the free tier is you get this watermark made with Animoto. But I believe they have a free trial, or you could sign up for a month and cancel after you've made, you know, a dozen of these. But yeah, it's a very powerful tool if you want to do these types of social media videos. I threw Google Slides in here because a lot of people will already have it. I'm using it here for this presentation, but I think it's often missed, PowerPoint too, that you can do so much more in it. So just very quickly, say you wanted to make a social graphic. I can pick a theme here, and then the key is you go to File, Page Setup, and then here you can type custom. It's set to inches by default, but if you put pixels, you can change this to anything, absolutely anything. So if I wanted to do, say, a square Instagram post, I now have this, it's square, put in whatever I want, and I can then just download it as a PNG. So you already likely have access. If you don't, it's free. It's part of the Google Workspace set of apps. And you can do a ton of stuff just in Google Slides. You've got all the Google fonts are there. Let me just quickly show you that actually. So say you wanted to use a Google font, by default, it has a number here, but if you click more fonts at the top, this gives you access to the entire Google Fonts library. So if you know there's a certain font you want to use, you can search for it here, add it to the template. Okay, so you've produced the assets. How are we doing on time? It's going to run through these ones very quickly. Posting on social media can take time. So there's software, again, for free, where you can sign up, you connect your social accounts, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And then you can manage all of your posts from one interface. So you don't have to log into each of these platforms individually. You're managing everything here. You get a nice calendar view where you can see upcoming posts, lots of features, but it's designed specifically for small businesses or businesses in general who want to automate the posting of their social media. Later has a lot of Instagram specific tools, so advanced analytics and things for Instagram. So I'd say later.com if Instagram is a focus for you. The more general one that I've used a lot in the past is called Buffer, buffer.com. Connect your accounts. The free tier lets you sign up 3 accounts, which typically is enough. So like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, say, and then you can manage all your social from one place and automate some of the posting. These two, HubSpot and MailChimp, basically I mentioned at the start, the CRM, so it's a database of all of your contacts where you can make sure everyone is organized so you know who your clients are. Maybe you're breaking them out by geography or the type of client, but email marketing is such a powerful tool. Feels old-fashioned, but email is still very effective. So HubSpot and MailChimp both offer free tiers where you can do everything you need essentially, but they'll have a HubSpot or MailChimp logo. So you pay to remove the logo and increase features and the number of emails you can send each month. Analytics. Google Analytics is the sort of go-to standard. There are others, but honestly, just use Google Analytics. It's so well documented. There's a million resources and blog posts online about how to use it. You just add a snippet of code to your website, and then you can log into the dashboard and see all of the activity on your website. I don't have time to go through it all now, but essentially you can see where people are spending their time, what pages they're going on, how did they get to your website, and so on. And then the last one I'm going to talk about, then open up for questions, is this tool called Hotjar, which is very powerful because they have this heat mapping technology where you can pick a page, typically your homepage, let it run, and then after, say, a month, it will have enough information to show you how far down the page people scrolled, where are they clicking, even like the mouse movements. Very, very powerful tool. The free tool gives you, I believe, unlimited heat maps and a limited number of session recordings. So you can actually see a video of people navigating your website. It's incredible. So similar to Google Analytics, you add a snippet of code and then you can start tracking visually what people are doing. So that was a lot of stuff. This this slide deck will get shared with you so that you can go back and explore them all in more detail. I just threw this slide in here as well because these tools, while they're like really powerful and exciting, go back to the strategy slide, smart insights, be really deliberate in your approach and be consistent, persistent, and patient, because if you don't get results straight away, it can get very frustrating. You want to give up. Don't keep changing your tactics. Set a strategy, deliver on that as consistently as you can, and say after 90 days, review the analytics, see what's working, and don't give yourself a hard time if it's not working straight away, because a lot of these things take months for them to really prove like effectiveness. I'm gonna throw it back to Bill now for questions.
Well, first, I want to thank you very much, Pete, for sharing a wealth of information and showing the tools as demos, so people just get to see how they can use it and what the depth of each of the tools are. So thank you very much. We do have a few questions. One here is a nonprofit considered commercial use?
Yes.
Okay. Next one is, how secure are these plugins if I add them to my website?
All of these are very secure. They will all have terms of use and policy information on their websites. Typically in the footer, you can find like their privacy policy, but these are very well used, multi-million-dollar businesses that you should not have any concern over using. There are some people that don't like the idea of Google, for example, embedding Google Analytics on your website. They don't like that. But the reality is, especially for a small business, it's like Google isn't interested in what your website is doing, really. They're very good tools, and that's never been a concern I've had.
Okay, thank you. Next, is there a place for print marketing in your marketing tools?
Yeah, so print marketing for sure gets overlooked. Direct mail is a very powerful tool that still very much works. Canva that I mentioned does, on the paid subscription, allow you to download print ready assets with like bleed and crop marks. So you can use it there, and that's great because you can export it for digital and print from the same place. There is a platform that's bridging the gap, just very quickly, called Pebble Post. This might be a little more advanced, but they essentially take your online customer activity and send direct mail to them. So if people go to a certain web page, you know that they're interested in a particular product, this software can then trigger an actual physical mailer to go to their household. This is typically more related with paid media, but it's a very cool platform. And I think print, yes, same as out of home and more traditional advertising, you can sort of bridge the gap with some of these tools.
Next is, why do you think they are leaving Adobe?
The ease of use. So I've used Adobe products when they were Macromedia, before Adobe owned like Flash and things. So 2001-ish. And you're never going to be able to replicate the power of something like Photoshop or Illustrator in a browser, because the processing requirements in the browser isn't there. But for, I'd say, like 90% of the needs for most people, you can do it in Canva or similar. So I do use both. I like the ease of access. So you just open up a browser and you don't have to worry about the software being installed. You don't have to worry about the fonts being installed on your machine. I've got a desktop and I've got a laptop. I've got multiple laptops. So just being able to know that the work is there in the cloud, and also for collaboration. So if you're working with other team members, you can all just log into one place and you don't have to worry about file sharing. So Adobe just acquired a company called Figma this week. They announced it for $20 billion. So it shows that Adobe knows where the market is heading, because Figma it's like Canva, but more for web and app UI design, although you can use it for pretty much anything. So yeah, Adobe knows. They've tried making their own online products. There's one called Spark, but they're just not great. And while there's always going to be a need for professional software like Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign, I'd say the vast majority of the features you can do in Canva.
Okay. Just a comment from another participant. Canva offers the free pro version to nonprofits.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. That's great information.
Yep.
So I guess, yeah, there'll be a way to submit and apply for that. But that's
Right.
a really good point, that if Canva's doing it, there's a good chance that these other platforms are doing it.
Right.
That's a really good point.
Are the Canva costs per month or per product?
Per month. So they have a mixture. So you can pay monthly, you can sign up annually. All of these platforms typically do it the same way. There's a monthly fee, but if you pay for 12 months, you get a better rate. And then there's often upselling within the app. So some photos or specific fonts, maybe you have to pay an extra $1 or so to use. But typically everything's included in the monthly fee.
Okay, the next one. How do you research your market and demographics for small businesses? An example, I would like to research my neighborhood and target affluent members of the community for my business. I would like to research information such as they are high income earners, have family and children, established careers, and they shop at affluent or luxury places.
Yep. So couple of places, all of the big advertising platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, you don't have to set up you don't have to put the campaign live spending money, but they have a lot of audience targeting tools so that you can see the audience size. So log into LinkedIn ads, the LinkedIn ad platform. If you go through the steps of creating an account and a campaign, you can filter by region, how senior they are. I believe there's household income. Facebook definitely has like household income. And you'll be able to see that sort of size of audience to see whether it's worth going after that particular audience. Also census data. Census is 100% open and free, very powerful for getting that sort of demographic information.
Okay, another more of a comment, Peter. This is so incredibly helpful, and that really echoes quite a number of comments.
Oh, good.
But I think that one summarizes it best. Next, can you please suggest a way to remove or change the background from an image?
Yeah. So it's actually interesting. So Canva lets you download an image for free if it doesn't have a transparent background, but then there's tools that you can remove backgrounds from an image. So what you could do, just thinking out loud here, Canva, create your logo, download it with a white background for free, come to this type of website, just Google remove background from image. There's a number of these tools, and you can upload the image and it will remove the background for you. These guys, they often let you do a certain number per month for free. they're really trying to sell to software developers who are adding this functionality into their own platforms. So they're looking for, thousands of images a month. But just to try it out, because you only probably need to do it a handful of times, you could probably just go through and do it on here. Let me just see if I've got anything I could just quickly throw in here. So that's the original. Yeah, and that's without the background. So it's actually removed some of this. Bit of trial and error, maybe crop the image to be what you need, but I mean, that's pretty amazing actually, that it's just done that for you, or for me, instantly. So yeah, if you've got an idea for something, someone's already done it and built an app that does it online.
Okay, thank you. Next is Microsoft Office versus Google Platform. Do you have a preference one over the other?
Yeah, I mean, Google just, so if you're more, I'd say Microsoft has a lot more like enterprise security features. But I'd say for most people, Google is just so much more accessible and easy to use. The pricing is very similar between Office and Google Workspace. I tend to push people towards Google. Just I think they're just, the products are better.
With Canva, if you download a file while you are a member and then discontinue your account, are the files still accessible?
Yes. Yeah. Once it's downloaded, it's on your machine, you can cancel straight away. You just, well, accessible again to download in the future. I don't know. I imagine not. I imagine they'll let you do just whatever the free account does. So just keep everything downloaded and saved in a folder. I use Google Drive, for example, for all of our files. So we can access them anywhere.
Okay, next is, what's the best tool to use to create stories on Facebook and Instagram?
I'd probably use that Animoto. So stories, video content. I mean, stories, you've got the other pieces to it, so you can assemble, make all the sort of components here and assemble it on the platform. But this Animoto tool is really powerful for video content. So I can change this to vertical, just like that. Yeah.
Okay. Next, are you aware of any recent-ish developments with Facebook's algorithm that could be causing a drop in interaction with posts?
I mean, so Facebook's paid advertising has taken a big hit with the Apple's privacy rollout, where you can't retarget people with cookies as much. Just on your regular organic posts, I mean, they're tweaking their algorithms all the time. I don't know of any sort of, I've not heard of any change release that would significantly reduce, but it's impossible to know what their algorithm is doing. Same with Google, they're constantly changing how they prioritize items. So just in general, just making sure the content is of good quality. It sounds a little silly, but it's just, they say that they're optimizing towards showing good quality content with every update. So if your content is good, original, relevant to people, you should, in theory, make it to the top. But yeah, I'm not aware of any specific changes.
Okay.
One thing just quickly on that is just these tools like Buffer block out like an afternoon or like a couple of afternoons and make seriously like 3 months worth of content. It sounds a little crazy, but you can schedule like a year in advance. So the thing with social media is you need to be posting consistently frequently. Doesn't have to be every day, but doing that day in, day out is exhausting. So sign up for a tool like Buffer, batch produce, you know, a good amount of content, schedule it across a few months, and then let it take care of itself.
Why is Animoto better than Canva for video?
It's got more features for video because it really only does video. So Canva, I mean, they've improved their video capabilities a lot in the last couple of years, but Animoto is dedicated to video. It depends how custom you want it to be, because Animoto has this concept of themes. So as long as you like their themes, it's really powerful. But if you want to customize it beyond the theme, it gets harder. Canvas too. That's where, like, if you want to get really custom, that's where Adobe products like After Effects and Premiere come in, because you can build anything. But these are designed for just knocking out really quick videos. I think just Animoto's, just their workflow is focused on video, so it's nicer to work with.
Okay, and we just have time for a couple more folks. Any tools for TikTok? Marketing friends tell me that Instagram and Facebook are dead as sales generating tools. Knowing how to use this platform will become increasingly important as a sales lead channel.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok, it doesn't really matter what the channel is. They're essentially just videos in the format. It's like 1080 by 1920. It's like a portrait widescreen video. So all of these tools that I've mentioned for using on Instagram, you absolutely could use it on TikTok. But again, remember that those, like TikTok has the tools in the app itself to add more like TikTok native elements to it. So you could get the base content done on these tools, upload it to TikTok, and then add in those other layers of things that are specific to TikTok. The scheduling won't do that, of course. The scheduling is more just your sort of standard content, if that's the thing.
Okay. Is there an advantage to using Google Slides versus Canva?
Only that there's a chance that you already have it. You probably already have used it, and it's just an option I threw in at the last minute, to be honest, because you can do quite a lot just by resizing the size of the slide to be whatever you want. So one less tool to log into, one less thing to learn.
And next to the last question, can you use any 100% free graphic on Canva as your company logo, or does it have to be listed in the logo category?
It doesn't have to be in the logo category. Those templates are just starting points to help you not have just a blank canvas in front of you. All those templates do are just pre-populate the design tool with a layout. So you could select all and delete it once you're in there if you wanted to. It's really just helping you find the best template for what it is that you're looking to do. But the actual design tool, regardless of what you pick, is the same no matter what.
Okay. And last question. I feel that I know a lot of resources for how to create marketing content, but I am struggling to create content strategy and master calendar. Do you have any resources to help you with that?
Yeah.
For example, templates, strategy, advice, etc.
Back to Smart Insights for this, 100%. These guys have downloadable like Excel files of an editorial calendar, a content calendar for blog posts and social with guides. So I started the presentation here. It's nice to end it here actually, because if you come in, you have to create an account, but then you can go to free membership, and I guarantee there'll be a content calendar of sorts on here. Let's see. It's the But yeah, these guys are excellent. They have a blog as well, which is all good content. If there isn't one specifically on here, it might be within one of these other. So there's a content marketing mistakes. Digital marketing plan. This probably has something content related to. But yeah, I would definitely check these guys out. Very in depth. Yeah, so it's things like this, like checklists. There'll be a content section for sure.
Oh, great. Thank you, Pete. Again, once again, you've provided a wealth of information and as well as examples of the tools. Again, quite a number of the comments come back being very complimentary of how helpful this information has been.
Great.
Just a reminder to everybody, you will receive a copy of the recording and the slides. So with that, I want to thank everybody for their participation today. And again, thanks very much to you, Pete, for such a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.